What up, peeps? Sate is a state. Okay, Satan is a state of mind. And let me explain this. This one is. I don't really like, doing religious comparison and stuff in my videos because it's, there's always some guy out there who gets irritated and says I'm going to hell because I don't take the Bible literally. I don't really care. I just want a lot of people, most people who know anything about comparative religion understand that there are a lot of similarities in a lot of religions, and there are a lot of differences as well. And one of the big similarities is in a lot of the religions is this idea of this evil being. And it's not always a being. Sometimes it's a force or an idea, like in Hinduism, it's the temptation, the god of desire. And to break it all down, Satan, that figure of Satan, it's time that we realize that there is no Satan. There is no almighty being watching over hell and your soul. People have had experiences where they've been possessed by demons, quote demons or whatnot, and they, these entities that people speak of, these possessions and these bad spirits, I believe, are energies that are of ill intent, and we don't quite understand them yet. But Satan just doesn't work. Hell as a place doesn't work because it's symbolic. And hell, this is so obvious to me and so many others who are probably watching this. We know, hell is a symbolic place. But quite literally, I've met countless people who just do not know what the hell I'm talking about. If I were to say, hell is temptation. Be like, what? That's here on earth. As humans, we're tempted to do things that are selfish and for selfish reasons. And that's what hell is. It's greed. It's person living in their own hatred and their own turmoil caused by their own behaviors. And the realization that I really had lately, and the reason why I had to post this, was that I've always known that hell was symbolic and that Satan was symbolic. But only recently have I started to process the reason behind why it's so important that people know. And why people want to grab onto this Satan as a person, as a literal figure. Even though Satan didn't really exist in the Old Testament, Satan wasn't hell wasn't ever intended to be part of, Jesus's rap when he started spitting, and even before that, with older testaments and with ancient writings and Vedic teachings and all the different, in Islam and, you name it, they all have these ideas of this, this evil. And by placing evil, and by placing a face on evil, that is to say, this is what's making these bad things happen. It not only gives people a scapegoat to blame bad things in the world on, which is pretty ignorant, but it gives people an excuse to blame the bad things they do. So, if a person really sits down and thinks about Satan and realizes that Satan is nothing more than his own internal desires overwhelming him, well, he realizes he's being dominated by himself when he does evil things, not dominated by a force. A person can say, well, Satan made me do it, or, that's evil, it's strong, it's hard to resist, but, when you have to, when you have to account for your own behaviors, and you realize that everything is all within you, it makes it that much harder for some people, but it makes it that much easier for a lot of other people, and that's why I think it's so important that people, because there are really people out here who, in the world, that we have to remember that grew up believing that there was a Satan, and that's their view of life is right now. There could be a person watching this video right now that's thinking, what do you mean there's no Satan? That's ridiculous, There's a lot of people who probably would, and I respect that, and I understand why a person who's raised to believe a certain thing could believe in it, but it's just such a ridiculous idea. Most of us who are past that wouldn't even think that it's a big issue, but it is, because a lot of people still believe that these things, that there is this guy with a pitchfork, and I really hope that we can change a few minds and get people to realize that they're accountable for their own actions and their own behaviors, and we can't be blaming it on the government, and we can't be blaming it on other people, and we sure as hell can't be blaming it on Satan anymore. You and I make mistakes, and you and I have to answer for those mistakes, and you and I answer to ourselves for those mistakes, and we are our own most extreme judge. Nobody could judge you as harshly as you can judge yourself. You are your own most intense critic, and we all know it. So whatever happens after you die, wherever your spirit goes, and whatever kind of a judgment you endure, I think that you are your own ultimate judge, because we are all tentacles of this thing we call the universe, and we're just swaying in the wind and feeling our way through. So, namaste.